What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Every Week We Follow. So we've got a very, very special episode here. We have got two Forest fans on for the preview of the Forest game this weekend. It's the father-in-law, Graham, and his friend, Andy.
Welcome, guys.
You may actually recognise Graham. Oh, here we go. Terrible.
Wembley!
Yeah, so obviously this is a massive game in terms of the season. I think it's probably might be bigger for Villa. I would say probably at this stage currently, and obviously for me this is basically like my derby. This is like my derby for the season because I don't get to play Blues. I don't care about we don't get to play Baggies. I don't care about Baggies commentary. This is my derby day. So anyway, Graham, Andy, how you doing?
All good, thank you, James. Hello, Gary.
Look, how are you guys feeling? Obviously, I mean, it's 3 years now back in the Premier League. I went to the playoff final at Wembley. We were all there, Graham. It was a brilliant day. That was back when I used to root for. It was like my second chance of having a win at the weekend. Nowadays, I'm just hoping you lose.
That's when we believed you were just going to be relegation fodder, not Champions League contenders.
But yeah, I don't mind it when you're nowhere near where we are. But now you're up here.
Yeah, that is noted at home as well. You know, so after you were fodder, we turned into fodder for a couple of years, didn't we? That's how it works. And if you survive, But no, it's been. I mean, this year, Andy and I go back a long way with. The years of hurt, but this year is nobody. I don't care what anybody says. Nobody expected this.
No one's. I mean, this is probably even more surprising than our season last season, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think
all.
Go on, Andy. You go.
Yeah, I think it's common knowledge, isn't it? All the pundits had us down as relegation fodder. I didn't think we'd be relegation fodder. I thought we'd finish mid-table. I thought there were some easy fixes. We conceded, I think it was 20-odd goals from set pieces. We had a really, really dodgy keeper situation through last season. Probably cost us 4 matches that we could have won. So I think there were some nice, simple things that we could improve on. And I think we've done it very, very well. But I didn't see us being in this position. And,
no, I think I had you down about 15th, 14th, 15th, like not really in the fight. But I saw you like kind of being, last 10 games, you'd be kind of fine. But so what's happened? What's the change? I remember this very vividly with Steve Cooper being sacked and Nuno coming in. And I literally sat there and went to you guys, I went, that is a very good appointment. He's perfect for the type of players you have, the way you want to play. He's great for the stature of your club. And Sue, who's Graham's wife, my mother-in-law, sat there going like this, Nuno, like this. I'm like, absolutely not. Like, and he's been fantastic for you. But I don't know if it's just him. I think, the players and stuff.
I think for me, if you look at it, that appointment was fantastic because it's not his first time he's done this with a team. I think if you look at his time at Wolves, they were doing more or less the same thing. They were pushing towards those European places.
The exact same type of play as well. Like he's doing the same thing.
Absolutely. But he didn't get the investment and he left. He went to go to Spurs because I don't know why he went to Spurs because there was no way he was going to get the backing of Daniel Levy. But I think he got thrown under the bus there. And now at Forest, he's had that free reign really, and you've bought some really players that have got massive potential like Elanga and Hudson and Doy, who have been at good clubs, Man United and Chelsea respectively, and not really kind of pushed through. And all of a sudden, you put them in a first team and they're playing regular football with a system that suits. And the results are there to be seen.
But they were playing last season, though, right?
Yeah. But
what's the difference? What's been the difference?
Yeah, they were. Well, I mean, my simple take on it with that is that, when Steve Cooper went, there was a big hangover. It was like a death in the family for most Forest fans. Nuno came in and he was a bit passive and he kept saying, "Well, leave me to you know, I need a pre-season. Then we had all that nonsense with Clattenburg and the owner, you know, going on the pitch and everything. And all we wanted this year was a quiet season. Finishing mid-table would have been great. But then all of a sudden, in the summer, Nuno's has been good as his word, and he's turned it around. He's turned players who were straining every sinew of muscle just to stay on the ball in the Premier League to players who can now get it down and play. And I think there's also a bit of a coming together of lads, as Gary's just alluded to, Hudson-Odoi, Alanga. I put Nico Williams in, younger players who are making the way, and they've just come together at the right time.
Well, Nico lost his spot, didn't he, a little as well? Because obviously Alex Moreno was owned from us, but he can't get in the team.
No, that's right. No, and he's off the pace now because he's not played for such a while. He'd never let us down when he's played, but Nico came in and just absolutely stormed it.
I think one of the things that will be interesting for this weekend's game is we are defensively so solid, and you guys, don't matter who we're playing against, you're going to have lots of the ball. We accept that. The fans don't moan that we've not got the ball. Nobody's shouting, get a tackle in and all that. And so Nuno's come in, playing the way he's playing, and the fans are accepting it. I think if you went to a so-called bigger club, they wouldn't accept the way we're playing. I think Nuno probably has realised that through his managerial career now. And in prep for this, I've had a quick peep at the Brighton game, only the highlights with you guys, and scored.
We played counter-attacking football in that game.
Yeah, and I think, and I watched that and I thought, Brighton let you. I thought you won't be having that much space to run into, and attacking a retreating defence against us. You'll be facing 4 defenders in the box, and you can have the ball.
This brings me to our biggest problem this year, really, because and this is where I think we'll struggle against you at the weekend because of your pace that you've got on the counter attack, and if we don't historically this season have not played with a high enough tempo to break teams down when they sit behind the ball, and if we don't do that well enough on Saturday, I think you will pick us off quite easily. Depending on our back four, because we haven't got a great deal of pace in our back four. Pon's our fastest defender, but if you've got Hudson-Odoi, Alanga running, I think we will struggle. But it's going to be a tale of, can we move the ball quick enough in the final third and not make any mistakes defensively? That will be the key for this game for me.
But there's one thing that has changed though, Gary, and it's that one man. That one player, that guy who you have an absolute love story for. Asensio is different level, and that is the difference that he does. He's been able to do that for us the past. We are now six straight wins in all competitions, and he's part of that reason because he can unlock the team.
And our home form has been very, very good.
Our home form is very good. If this was at the City ground, I'd be sitting there going, oh God. I'm still kind of like, but I'm not as bad because it's at Villa Park.
I think go, Gary, go.
I think at this point I'd take a point.
I'd take a point all day. I would take
a boring 0-0. You qualify for the Champions League. We push on for that 5th place. Happy days. I don't know if you guys are aware of like the run that we've got coming. Like the run we have got in our next 5 games is mental.
Yeah,
we've got you guys. We've got PSG away. We've then got Southampton, PSG at home, and then we've got Newcastle, and then City or Chelsea.
Yes.
Yeah.
City, 22nd of April. City. Yeah, it's just been changed.
It's like for us, this period is like basically it's defines our season. Like these
it's
next
make or break now for us.
Well, I think it's crunch point for you. Yeah, I agree. You could.
I think for
you guys, feature out.
Yeah, I think for you guys, I think a draw for you guys almost like not guarantees, but it is like Europe is yours then. I feel like
you'd have to have some massive slide off to not qualify for the Champions League now, like from the position that you're in.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening. You've been, like you say, you've been
Just
so
as
solid
long
all
as-
season defensively.
Yeah,
I mean, looking
when
at
we're
the
solid,
stats
Gareth,
on that,
we're not giving it up cheaply.
No, to finish fifth, the average points tally is been 64 for the last. Well, I don't know how many seasons that was. So we maybe need 7 points from a possible 24 to guarantee fifth.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in our hands. I mean, I suppose Andy and I will come, and we're both worried about a few injuries and players who are.
Well, I was about to say because you were talking about last season. You were talking about players like muscles, like running into the ground and stuff.
Yeah.
You haven't had many injuries this season. I think that's one of the things I noticed is that you've actually managed to keep your team fit. That's been really key.
And we've been playing week to week, James. We haven't had that fixture congestion that you guys have. You know, I mean, there's been some weeks where we've had 7, 8, 9 days between games. You know, so it's allowed. That's the other thing. It's allowed Nuno to do lots and lots of prep. But it's just starting with. I think international breaks have not helped us because, like any other team, you know, we've got Wood who goes, you know, around the world to score a hat trick against whoever they play against, you know, non-league, and then we've got, you know, the Brazilians who are travelling as well, and all the rest of it. That's not an excuse. It's a good problem to have, but that is starting to have an impact.
But the second I saw Wood was injured, I was like, oh. But then he just puts a Langer up front. Like, what the hell? That's honestly when that goal against Man U, he ran 85 meters in 9 seconds with a football. Like, so I'm just sitting there going, that's like what, 11 seconds, 100 meters? Like, that's mental. Mental. Like, that is absolutely insane. But just quickly now, so what we'll do is we'll go on to our predictions. So what we'll do is we will write them down, but we won't reveal them until the end. So just write down your predictions now. I don't dare. I don't know.
I might change whilst we've been talking. I might change mine.
Okay, go for it. Yeah,
I haven't. But a little bit of just for info. The bookies have got you guys down as 3-1. Sorry, as evens. So the bookies are expecting you to win quite handsomely. We're down as 3-1.
Oh, that's interesting.
3-1.
We're 3-1.
Every Villa fan you speak to.
That bet's going straight on after this game, Gary. Sorry, that's handed. Both teams to score, Boris to win. So that is a
we're 3-1.
That's unreal.
Every Villa
15-4,
fan
I think, something like that.
You don't fancy yourselves.
It's not that I don't fancy myself, Graham. It's that my bets are usually led with my head, not my heart.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
I generally tend to go with where I think the money could be. But like with, for me, I can't see it being goalless.
No.
I'm hoping it's a draw. If it's not a win, I just can't. I can't. We can't lose. We cannot lose this game. And the other thing is actually we're talking about the way you guys set up and the way you play counter-attacking football and the way that you've been able to, like, teams have let you do it or you've been able to cash teams out. It'd be so fascinating to see how Emery sets this up because he just doesn't. He doesn't just play the way we play against everyone. Like, he will have a plan. The problem is that teams who play counter-attacking football or fast-paced football, namely Spurs and Newcastle, have absolutely ripped us to shreds. So I can see it happening. That's the problem, and it just scares me. We are at home.
Our problem is, James, and we've said this before on previous shows, is that as historical Villa fans, we have this PTSD of just bottling it at crucial times when we've got an opportunity to push on. We failed miserably at every hurdle, and this is the first time. And like, if anyone can do it, it's Emery. He's got the experience. He's got the tools. We've got probably arguably the best squad we've had in 40 years in terms of depth. Right, so it's whether we can step up to that next level. And the test is the remainder of this season because we've got to play all those teams around us. And if we win those games, we will finish fifth. We can,
Yeah.
but it's a massive ask. It's a massive ask with the Champions League and the FA Cup on top. I don't know if we've got it.
About the FA Cup.
I don't know if
Jesus.
we've got it. I don't know if we've got it. How can you forget about the FA Cup when a big?
Oh no, I don't mean to forget about the FA Cup. I'm telling you, by the way, guys. I'm
Yeah.
calling it now. By the way, it's a Forest Villa final.
Yeah,
It's a Forest
Oh.
Villa final.
we'll beat you on penalties. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
We're
it,
gonna win the
is it
cup.
3 times already this FA Cup run?
Yeah, we'll just win the cup on winning every game on penalties. And I hope it's you guys in the final.
And what a stat that'll be for a future football quiz, won't it? Who won the FA Cup with 6 penalty shootout victories through the tournament?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest though, like as much as it would be like hell for my heart for that to be the final, it'd be a fantastic fight. But like, I just don't want City there.
No,
you've got to beat City. Yeah,
please, Forest, please. If anyone can, you've done it already. Like how to play against them. Like it's one of those where you've just got. I mean, they've just got bags of experience, haven't they? But they are vulnerable this year. They're not the team that they have been in previous seasons. They are beatable. So hopefully you can do it for us.
Just picking up Gary on your point about the best squad that you think you've had. I think who was the three Unai Emery got some great players in, didn't he, on loan? Got Rashford's one.
Yeah. And Asensio.
There's a couple of others. When you looked, you did quite a bit of business, didn't you, in the
January was massive because our squad was massively depleted. The first signing we made in Jan, was it Garcia or Marlon first, Gaz?
That's a good question. I think it was Marlon and then Garcia. It happened in the same week, mate. I think.
Yeah. So we got.
Let us know in the comments because I'm sure you will.
Let us know. Let us know down there. So we got Donny Marlon in. We got Daniel Marlon in from Dortmund, and he's a right winger. And we were like, it's a direct replacement for Bailey because Bailey's just not doing it this season. So we bought him in permanent. I think it was about 30 mil, 25, 30 mil, something like that, probably. Then we brought in Andreas Garcia, who plays right back because Cash kept getting injured and we didn't want to play Conser at right back. So we got an actual right back in. But then we were having huge problems with our centre backs. Mings was out, Torres went out. Did Conser get injured at one point as well?
Yeah, he did.
And we basically were having to play. We played Kamara at centre back at one point, and we had Bogard, who's a holding midfielder.
A youth player, really, as well.
Yeah. So we brought in, obviously, Disassi on loan from Chelsea. And then, all of a sudden, we just went, we'll get Rashford and Asensio on loan as well. And they've been just...
They've made the difference.
Pivotal.
They transformed, haven't they?
I think it's raised levels in the team because you've got, particularly Asensio, like the guy's won it all. The experience he brings to that squad, like with 3 Champions League victories, league titles, we haven't got anyone in the team like that. And all of a sudden, you see this guy who can do things on a foot. Like I'm not just because he's playing for the Villa. I mean, I used to love him when he was at Madrid, but watching this guy play, like he's a world-class footballer. Like it's the little things that he does. His movement is constant. He's always looking for the ball. He's always scanning the space around him. Like, and you can tell that is the difference between a good footballer and a great footballer. And he has improved Morgan Rogers. He's improved Rashford to a certain degree, because they've linked up really well. Rashford's all of a sudden, I'm playing with someone who's going to pick me out and can play me in behind, who can go 1-2. Like there's such a variety now, and as James alluded to at the start, like if anyone can pick apart a defence, it's Asensio. He did it when he came on yesterday. Like he just causes problems for players because ultimately, if you go and man mark him or double team him, you're then leaving space for someone like Rodgers and Rashford to run at you, and that's where it works. But you've got for that to work, our tempo of our play's got to be quicker at times because what how Emery plays is he likes possession of the football. He likes to play out from the back, which I've got no problem with. But there are times when teams like yourselves and other teams that are not same week but lesser teams in the lower half of the league will come and just park the bus. Like it's pointless having the possession of the football in your own half. You've got to get into that final third, and you've got to have plenty of movement. And Asensio brings that in abundance, but it's just whether we can get him on the ball.
It's going to be fascinating because you guys don't really press, right? Like you don't play high press. You don't really.
Oh no, he'll have the ball. He'll have lots of.
Yeah, you let teams come on. But I just can't. I'm sitting here going, I can't see Emery just pushing us up high like we do.
No.
So I feel like it's going to be this like real kind of like
It feels like it's going to be a game of chess already, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's like,
very good managers, and
in the
it could be a
Simpsons,
mistake. That
the Simpsons, where there's that like World Cup scene. It's just like 3 players playing it between each other.
Yeah,
and that's all that's happening. I feel like it's going to be a lot of that. I feel there's going to be like waiting for who's making the move first, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Who
makes a mistake.
Yeah,
just
who makes it? I think the onus will be on us because we are at home and we do need the victory more than you guys do at this point at the stage of the season. And a victory for us would be massive because it'd put us on 51 points.
Yeah.
And arguably, if results go for us, we could be in that 5th place position by the end of the weekend. I mean, it's a massive ask because other teams are playing, but Man City could slip up at Man United. It's a derby game; you never know. And so we're relying on.
Is it tonight? Chelsea are playing Spurs.
Yeah, Chelsea playing Spurs tonight. Yeah, so we could do with Spurs kind of doing us a favour.
Be Spursy.
Well, the thing is, Chelsea are ultimately, I think, are the one club that are going to drop out of that top 5 race because they've been so poor. Like they look like they're falling off the cliff. They started so well, and all of a sudden they just can't buy a victory. I know they've had injuries to Palmer and stuff. So I was listening to Talk Sport on the way home from the game yesterday, and Jason Cundy was talking about how the Premier League has just been poor this year, and I just can't help but feel he's a bitter Chelsea fan, right? Because
I agree,
it's kind of like, what are you talking about? It's been the most entertaining Premier League I can remember. Like
other than
the top,
other than Liverpool just running away with it at the top, the rest of it has been absolute. And to be fair, I think the relegation fight's pretty.
But if you look at any other league in the world, where can you go from 4th to 13th and there only be 7 points in it? Do you know what I mean? Like it's the league is as competitive as it's ever been. That's only good for every club that's in it. Like it's a shame for the promoted clubs, but because they are ultimately you're trying to compete with financial giants and you can't do it. But for the Premier League itself, if you're in that top 15 teams, like you're kind of like it's a great time to be in the Premier League, isn't it? Because games are competitive. Anyone can beat anybody. So it's not as if even with the Southampton Palace game yesterday, Palace hadn't conceded a goal since December, and then they conceded against Southampton, who are the worst team in the league's history at the moment. What's going on? Right?
It's bonkers. It's absolutely bonkers.
There's no guarantees. It's all about consistency, isn't it? And that's what you guys have brought to the table this year. Like you said, you've highlighted it brilliantly with the defensively how you play, counter-attacking with players that can hurt you on the counter-attack. I hope Chris Wood's not fit for Saturday. I don't know if you've got any inside information because he'll be a definite thorn in our side. He's just had a brilliant season, hasn't he? Because you've got players in and around him that are just providing the service that he needs.
He's had,
but it's all about the service, Gary. It's not about Chris Wood. It's about the service.
I think there's a bit of both.
I think it's a bit of both. He can't score for
I think I was going to say. I think there is a bit of both. Like I think it's really weird. Like I keep thinking about the weird parallels and I don't know where this should because obviously I follow Forest closely and Villa. There's these weird parallels between the two teams where you had, Steve Cooper became like a club legend and he brought you up and he did all these things and he was like it was heartbreaking when he left. As a similar-ish thing with Dean Smith. Like he was like doing it, he grabbed all the fans, he got us back together, brought us up, and then he left. And then you've got this whole thing around like the Champions League. We did it last season. You've got Wood, who's just absolute everything he touches turns to gold this season.
Yeah.
It was the same with Watkins last season.
Year,
And it's just like these weird parallels between the two teams at the moment. But I find it interesting when you're talking about counter-attacking football. It reminds me of like Villa under Martin O'Neill. That's what we did. And it was a similar thing where you're talking about the players you got. We had Randy Lerner and stuff, but it was a time where we weren't like signing absolute superstars, and he was signing these young, fast players, and we would just absolutely unleash on teams. You had Gabby and Ashley Young running, and then Carew up front. It was just bonkers. It's kind of a similar setup actually.
And we had a solid defence with Martin Larson and
Aston Forest. Milenkovic has been absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable player. So there's a couple of head-to-head stats. They're probably not going to read great for you guys, but they'll read great for us. So
it is a Villa podcast, remember?
Yeah. It is a Villa podcast. Yeah. So interestingly, Forest have won 1 of their last 9 visits to Villa Park. Your last win was in 1994, and it was a 2-0 win at Villa Park. You've won 4 of your last 20 against us in all competitions, and 2 of those come quite recently. So, but since you got promoted, it's very even, Stevens. It's been 2 wins at home for Villa, 2 wins at home for Forest, and 1 draw at the City Ground. So, if it's a draw at Villa Park, it's all even. Everything, all honours stay even still. So, I'm still kind of weirdly.
I'll take it right now.
I'm still weirdly hoping for a draw. But what I was going to quickly ask was, so I'm thinking you're probably going to say pace, but maybe you'll say something else. What is it that Villa need to watch out for with Forest on Saturday? What's the thing that we need to be wary of?
Shall I go, Graham? What do you want?
No, you go, Andy.
It is pace, and it is about getting sucked in. And I mean, the goal in the week against Manchester United summed it up perfectly. He's run 85, and nobody's put a tackle in. Nobody's
shocking defending, but brilliant goal.
Shocking defending, shocking. But we see it. We keep seeing it, and I can't understand why sides aren't maybe even leaving one back. A little bit. Be aware of us on the break. I'll tell you where I think the opportunity is, and I watch it every game, and my heart's in my mouth when I watch it, is because we play on the break. It's so tight in and around our box, and there's lots and lots of intricate football, and all we're trying to do is get a toe in, and we get a toe in and then try and break. But we play before we do the break. We get the toe in, and then there's 2 or 3 really, really tight passes in a condensed area just on the edge of our box, and then it breaks to somebody like Gibbs White or Anderson, and next thing we're playing Alanga or Hudson-Odoi. But there's a few times when we get it in and around the edge of our own box, and we've got a toe in, tried to play, and then it breaks down, and that's when we're really, really vulnerable, because we're waiting to break, and it's so tight, a couple of 3-yard passes, and somebody else gets to toe in. And I think that's when we're more than likely to concede a goal.
It'll be fascinating that because we play out from the back, right? And we have the same heart in the mouth moments. We don't break as fast as you. So we're not, but we there's this thing with Emery that it's all about the 3 phases of play.
Yeah.
And it's you start from the back, you draw the team to you. You guys aren't going to come at us. So this is going to be this really interesting. This is why I think it's going to be this weird stalemate. So we try to draw the team onto us. And then we manage to break past their strikers or midfield.
Yeah,
then
that
you're
press.
Then you're into the second phase, and we basically try and pin the team in. So then we essentially end up with although it's not as evident this season, our centre halves basically end up on the halfway line, and we are you're pegged in, and we're just moving it around constantly. And then it's all about that little bit of magic in that final phase, where it's bang, 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 and try and get the goal. And that tends to be how we play. And it's been a lot this season where he'll go out onto the wing, and then Bailey or someone will be able to take a player on, but then they don't take him on, and then they pass it back, and that's just us.
And then we're vulnerable.
Yeah, and then we're vulnerable because then you guys come out a little bit, manage to nick the ball, and then you've got the pace to get in behind. And because he's not, I'm just going to call it now, he's not going to play Torres because he's not fast enough. I think when we did our preview for Brighton, I said, I think he might play Torres because I think he wants
if he does play Torres, I think we'll struggle in that game.
He has to play Mings because he's got recovery pace. So he can actually get back. Luca, it'd be interesting if he plays Maatsen or Dean. Maatsen with his pace, but he's so vulnerable defensively. Luca Dean's not quick, but he's so good positionally. Usually has players in his pocket, even like Salah or players like that. He's just managed them easy. So it will be fascinating to see, and it'll be interesting to see if you play Cho as well, because I think you're just going to go all out pace.
I think one of the other things for us is, you alluded to it, that our players, we've played the least players in the Premier League this season. I think Liverpool's close to us, but we've made the least changes. We've had that back 4 has played together. I'd say the second half of the season. You can write it, and they've all played. We get a goal in front, we change it and go to 5 at the back. So if we get in front, we'll go even more defensively.
And you'll catch him on the break.
Yeah, but Aina come off on. I don't think he'll play. So we've suddenly gone from a back four that's played together 99% of the time this season to on Saturday. That won't be the back four. So we've got to work out how do we do that. And you'll have Rashford down that side.
Will that be Nico on the right back? Will that be Nico right back, and he'll put Moreno left back? Oh, can you play Moreno?
Moreno can't play, can he?
He can't play. That'd be my concern for Saturday. I think Nuno's done a presser today that he's out for a while, and Wood.
Yeah, he's just rubbing his hands.
Doubtful, and Choi should be back. Cho, should I say, should be back. So as Andy says, that's going to be our test, because although both fullbacks are versatile, so I don't know who he put in, whether he'd play Morata and 3 centre halves and sit somebody else at wing back. I don't know.
That's actually checked. That's going to be interesting.
It's a big blow for us.
I think Harry, he's got to play. He's going to play Bailey, and or is Bailey not fit?
No, Bailey hasn't been in the squad for the last 2 games. Bailey's not coming anywhere near this team.
Is he not fit?
It doesn't matter. There's no way he's coming back into this game.
I just have a feeling he's going to be like, I want width, and he's going to play him. I just don't know why. I just have
there's other options to do that.
I hope so. I'd like him. I mean, like I said, I think if we want width, he's not going to start Marlon. So I do think it's going to be the same 4 up front as it has been. I think
he could, if he wanted to, do the 4 I've been crying out for. He could play Rashford on the left, Watkins up top, Asensio just behind him, and Rodgers on the right. I know that's not Rodgers' favourite position, but you can say to him and Asensio, just switch it out.
Would you prefer that to playing what he's been doing, where he's playing JJ on the left and Rashford up front?
Well, I do think, like, in terms of, for me, that as much as I slag Watkins off, he does bring something to the team, and we need to move your back 4 around, and he brings movement and running. Rashford doesn't do that. So you're right. Ultimately, I'd want Rashford in for the pacing behind on the left, and I think you guys will worry about that. But then if you've got Asensio and Watkins creating movement in the middle, it frees Rodgers up. So that could work for me. I mean, again, I'm no professional coach, and it probably won't happen that way. But I'd love to see, I think it's our best chance of winning the game.
I tell you, the player who has to, I mean, he is usually an 8 out of 10 week in, week out anyway. The player who needs to have a fantastic game here to stop you doing what Andy was just saying about, like, getting that little toe in and being able to get out is Kamara.
Yeah.
Kamara.
He's our golden egg.
Yeah, he has to have that. He has to break up. He has to give Yates a couple of elbows. He needs to be like, he needs to be in it, and he needs to be breaking that up, because otherwise you're just going to nip around us, and it's going to be really frustrating.
Yeah. From what I've seen of Yates, though, this season he's bullied every world-class midfielder. You know, from
he's almost the shithouser he is. Almost as much shithouser as Martinez.
He's full of that, but don't be surprised if the opposite happens with Yates.
Yeah.
I think that's the battle I'm probably looking forward to the most, because Kamara, he's our unsung hero, and no one really speaks about him. But I think we said this in the previous show, like, we are a different team without him. We're not the same team, and we haven't been. And since he's been back, it's no coincidence that we've gone 6 undefeated in all competitions. It's purely down to him, the way he breaks up play, the way he can move the ball. He's a fabulous holding midfielder. He really is. And arguably, I'd say he's got the potential to be world class. I'm not saying he's world class at the moment, because he's done so very little in the game, but he's definitely got the attributes of doing that. The way he does it, he's definitely up there with, like, the Cloud Makalele's and all that kind of stuff that have defended us. So I think that's going to be a really interesting battle. And if we can win that, then maybe with that attacking formation, like I mentioned, we might have a shout at winning the game.
Yeah. Right. Let's have our predictions. So I'm going to do it slightly differently, where we're going to do it one at a time rather than all at the same time. Yeah. So I'll go first. I've actually just changed mine after learning about your back 4 needing to change. It's made me ever so slightly more positive about this. So I'm going for the following scoreline here. I've gone for the 2-1.
What was it before, James?
I've gone for the 1-1 before, and I was like, you know what? It's a Villa podcast. They're changing their back four. We're going to get 7 wins on the trot. So that's my plan. Gary, do you want to go with yours?
Well, obviously, mate, great minds think alike. Do you know what I mean? So I went for 2-1. I went from the start because I can't bet against us. And I said at the start, I mean, I'll take a point right now. If you offered me a point right now, I'd take it. But I think I can't bet against us. There was a manager in the 80s that once said, "Would you?" And I can't. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory. But I would have probably gone, I'll take a 1-1 or a boring 0-0. If I'm honest, like that. That's
5-5? 5-5? No? Don't want to know 5-5? I don't think my heart can take it, mate. I don't think my heart can take it.
After the week I've had, I can't take a 5-5. I can't. That'll be me ruined.
Graham, what you got?
Okay. Our overhead. I think we'll concede.
He's gone for the other way, hasn't he? Yeah, he's gone the other way.
He's gone the other way. Basically, I listened to a lot of Villa fans these last couple of days, and none of you fancy yourselves. So even
what's the order? What's the order of scoring there, Graham?
The order of scoring, we'll go 1 up, and then you'll equalise, and then we'll catch you out again later on.
I would have maybe gone for like a Forest 2-0. I just feel like if you guys go ahead, you'll score it before we do. That's
first goal will be massive in this game. I think. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, we're resolute on Tuesday, but we could have conceded at any time. I mean, fantastic defending, but you know how we didn't concede.
Well,
I don't know
because Man U are shit.
That's right. The result was that.
They're so bad up front. They are they've got nothing at all.
Other than Maguire.
Honestly, when he came on up front, I was like,
won every header.
And he changed the game. He was actually brilliant for them.
Hoyland and Garnacho combined or something, didn't it?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. Right, Andy, what you got?
Well, it's interesting, James. I was with you previously. 1-1.
Oh, he's going with the 1-1.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we shall obviously see. Is it 5:30 kickoff Saturday?
5:30 kickoff on Saturday. Yeah.
On TV. Oh my God! But I mean, I'm going to the game, so I don't care. I don't know why I care. It's on TV. Anyway,
record it for analysis, mate. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. Anyway, as always, guys, thank you for joining. If you love this and if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe below. If you want to hit the like button as well, any comments as well, what you think down below. Graham, Andy, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really great.
Thanks, guys. It's been really good.
Thank you for inviting us, and we'll see you for an FA Cup final preview.
Yeah,
I'm hoping so. Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
Go sing us out, guys.
On the FA Cup preview, Wembley. As we are both going, I think that's kind of an adequate way to end the show.
Brilliant.
Thanks for the invite.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Catch you a bit. Bye.